How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Dalet, Daf 4 of Masechta BavaKama. Friends, today we are discussing Mavet. Everyone was wondering, right? What the heck is Mavet, right? Arba Avos Nezikin Ashor Abor VaMavet VaHever. What's Mavet? So here we go. We're going to start on Daf Gimel Med Beis. We got about 10-15 lines to do on Daf Gimel Med Beis. Here goes everything. Hamave ve'hever v'chulei, right, at the two dots. So hamave ve'hever v'chulei, right, so we mentioned mave and hever. So hever, mimei, of course, hever is fire. What's mave? My mave. Rav Amr mave ze odom, u'shmuel Amr mave ze ashen. Oh. So Rav says mave is odom, is a fellow, and Shmuel says it's a tooth, an ox tooth. Okay? Rav Amr mave ze odom. So Rav says that mave is a fellow. The pasuk says, Omer Shomer, that the Eibishter says, also Boker, that the morning, that light comes for the righteous, Vigam Laila, but also night for the nudniks. Imtiv Oyun Ba'oyu, and if you want to pray, what if you want to do tshuva. So Mavet, Tiv Oyun Ba'oyu is referring to the fellow, do tshuva. Shmuel Amar Mavet ze Ashen. Shmuel says that Mavet is an ox tooth. The Chsiv is the pasuk says, Eich nechpesu Esav. How was let's go weiter. Nivu matspunov. My mashma. What does it mean? The Metagim Rav Yosef says, Ichdein izbilish Esav, that Esav was, I forget the word already, like broken up somehow, ransacked. Izgalin matmaroi, and its hidden things were revealed. And we had said the other day, right? We brought a pasuk for Shane that was hagolol, right? Kasher yivra hagolol tumo golol. Apparently, tooth has this like connotation of like something that gets revealed. It's sometimes hidden, sometimes revealed. Right? Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. So being revealed is a reference to an ox tooth. Okay. V'Rav, my time lo Amar Kishmuel. How come Rav says it's a fellow and not an ox tooth? So Amalach will say to you, Mikatoni Nive. The Mishnah says Mave, not Nive, right? And the pasuk says, right? Shmuel's pasuk says, Omer Shomer also broke of Gamlala im Tivayun. I'm sorry. Shmuel's pasuk was Ech Nechbesu Esav Nivu Matspunov. Nivu is not Mave. Okay. Shmuel my time lo Omer Kirav. How come Shmuel doesn't say like Rav? Amalach will say to you, Mikatoni Boe. Doesn't say, right? Rav's pasuk was im Tivayun Be'ayu. But the Mishnah says Mave, which is a different thing. So we say, look, at the end of the day, it's not exactly a perfect fit for either Rav's pasuk or for Shmuel's pasuk. So let's just get down into the nitty gritty. Tachlis. Rav, my time lo Omer Kishmuel. Rav, you say Mave is a fellow. Why don't you say that it's like Shmuel, that Mave is an ox tooth? Tana, shor v'chol milei de shor. Well, Rav says, look, the Mishnah already said shor, right? Arba avos nezikin ashor. It's the first one, is ashor. So, when it says ox, it's ox and all things related to an ox. Karen, Shane, Regel, it's all included in shor. I don't need Mave separately for Shane. Ushmuel, Nami, Otanale, shor. So, Shmuel, Rav makes a good point. We already did mention shor, so why separately list the tooth? Omer of Yehuda, so it says of Yehuda, Tanashor lekaino mave lishino. Says of Yehuda, look, when the Mishnah says shor, it's davka referring to Keren, to the horn. And therefore, if shor just refers to the horn, so mave then refers to the tooth. And this is what the pasuk, this is what they had to understand the Mishnah, right? Because what did the Mishnah say? We said, I'm reading the Mishnah, Arba Avos Nezikin, Hashor v'abor v'mave v'hever lo arei hashor kari amave v'lo arei amave kari hashor. We said the mave is not like the shor is not like the mave, so we're going to explain what that means. Lo re'ia keren, so we say shor is keren and mave is shein. So lo re'ia keren she'ein anoya le'azeko kiri hashein she'yesh anoya le'azeko. That keren is unlike, right? The horn is unlike the tooth because the horn doesn't get any benefit when it damages, as opposed to the tooth that when an animal eats, it gets benefit. And the tooth, when an animal eats something, it's not davka intending to damage; it's intending to eat. Kriya keren shekavanos lahazik is unlike the Karen that Davka it's intending to cause damage. Okay. So we say right there. So the shore is not like the Maveh. The Maveh is not like the shore. Karen is not like Shane. Shane is not like Karen. But Frekti Gemara, if that's the case, V'lav Kavachomer, can't we just learn out Kavachomer? Umashein she'ein kavanosu lahazik chayev. If we say that by the tooth, by eating, where it doesn't intend to damage, and you're chayev, Karen shekavanosu lahazik l'kol shekein, obviously then, Karen, the horn, where it intends to cause damage, certainly will be chayev for damages. Well, interestingly, not necessarily. Because I may have thought, Eved v'Ama. Well, in Eved and in Amma, if they intentionally damage, Eved v'Ama lavafagav de kavanos and lahazak, even if they intentionally damage, afilu achi petire. They are pturin, as we'll see in a second. Hachanami lo shnos. I might think that here also by Karen, it's the same thing. That even though there is intention to damage, you'll be potter. Just like Eved and Amma. I may have had that Havamina. So therefore it's not so obvious. So I need to list them both. Amr of Ashi. But Ashi says, well, no, don't compare Karen to Eved and Amma. Or to Eved v'Amma, Lav Taima Rabba is bu. There's a very good reason why Eved and Amma are pturim even when they intend to damage, because Shema Yak Nitenu Rabo, because maybe their Adon will upset them. V'yelech v'yadli gadisho shel chaveiro, and then the Eved or the Amma will go and burn down the grain piles of his fellow. But him says, and he can cause his Adon, 100 mana. I think a mana, $100, so it's like $10,000 a day. Right? So there's a reason why an Eved and an Amma are not chayiv even when they intend to damage, because it would be completely unsustainable for the Adon if every time the Eved or the Amma got upset, they went and caused a ton of damage, and the Adon would be on the hook for it. So okay. So we had said, okay, we're talking about Karen, we're talking about Shane, and we said, yeah, but wouldn't we be able to learn out Kavachomer that certainly if you're chayiv for Shane, where it doesn't intend to damage, certainly it'd be chayiv for Karen. We said, well, maybe not necessarily, because I can compare it to Eved and Amma. And we say, no, don't compare it to Eved and Amma. There's a good reason for Eved and Amma. Okay, so back to our question. So wouldn't I be able to, can't we learn out from a Kavachomer to exclude, that you'd be chayiv for Karen? So we say, okay, one second, we got it wrong. That the Lori Izeh, we got it wrong. Rather, Elo Perchachi, Loriya Karen shekavanoso lahazik kiriya Shane kavanoso lahazik, no fakert. That the Karen, that its intention is to damage, is not like the Shane, where the intention is not to damage. Floria Shane, Sheshanoy le'azeko, and by eating, there is benefit from the hezek. Kiriya Karen is like the Riya Karen, She'en anoy le'azeko, that there is no benefit from its damage. So we're focusing on basically the opposite, right? The different characteristics, right? So whereas initially by the Karen we were talking about, right? We were talking about how it can have kavana, lahazik. So here we're basically taking it from the opposite angle, and therefore we wouldn't ask the same kavachomer. Okay. V'regel mai shayre. So what about regel? Right? We mentioned shore is Karen, mave is Shane. What about regel? It's chopped liver. Kishehizik chavamazik lasuye regel. Well, when the pasuk continues, when the Mishnah continues and says kishehizik chavamazik, that is coming to include regel. L'snai be'edya. But still, I mean, Shor and right, Karen and Shane are listed explicitly. Regel, we're just kind of throwing in with Kshehizik Chava Mazik. When it says that, it includes Regel. Why not say it explicitly like Karen and Shane? Ela Marava, rather Rava says Tana Shor Liraglo Umavilishino. Rather, Shor is not a reference to Karen. Shor is a reference to Regel. So Shor is Regel, Mave is Shane, according to Shmuel. V'achika Amar Lo Re'ia Regel She'ezeka Matzui Kriya Shane She'en Ezeka Matzui. That by regel, it's a common damage, right? The regel steps on something, it's just walking and it steps on something that is common. But for an animal just to go up and eat somebody else's stuff is not as common. And by eating is unique, that there's benefit from the eating. But if it just steps on something, it's not chayiv. What? If it just steps on something, there's no benefit. Okay, fine. So each one is different. V'Karen my shayiri. What about Karen? We're leaving out Karen, right? Meaning, if we're saying Shor is regel, Mave is Shane. So what about Karen? It's chopped liver. So kshizik chavamazik lasuye Karen. It says kshizik chavamazik. It's going to include Karen. V'snai behedra. But why not have it be explicit? Right? We're mentioning regel explicitly. Right? We're specifically mentioning regel. We're specifically mentioning Shane. Why are we just throwing in Karen with Kishahizik Chavamazik? The Muadin mitchilason kamari bitamin v'sof muadin lo kamari. So answers the Gemara. Well, regel and Shane are always chayiv nezek shalom. We're always considered muadin, right? Karen is a tam, right? Meaning by right. Initially, every animal starts out. Right, an ox starts out with regard to goring with its horn as a tam. It has to be worn 3 times before it becomes a muad. And as long as it's a tam, you pay chatzi nezek, not nezek shalim. So, right, half damages, not full damages. So Shor and Mave are referring to regel and Shane, which are both a muad milchatchila. Right, even the first time you would pay full damages. So it mentions those specifically. That's what it's talking about. But it leaves out Karen explicitly, which is something that starts out as a tam, that you would start out with half damages. All right, fine. So again, right, so b'muadin mitchilason kamairi, we're talking about things that start out as muad, i.e. Shane and regel, b'tamin v'sof muad lo kamairi, but it's not talking about where it starts out as tam and then becomes muad, which is Karen. That's just included in kishehizik chavamazik. Ushmuel, my time lo makrav. Okay, so we explained Shmuel. Okay, that was explaining Shmuel, right? That he says Shor is a reference to regel, Mav is a reference to Shane, Karen is included in kishehizik chavamazik. Now, how come Shmuel doesn't hold like Rav? Right? Let's look at it from Rav's lens. So Shmuel, my time lo makrav. How come Shmuel doesn't hold like Rav? Amar loch. Shmuel will say to you, Isakadaitech Odom. Well, if you say that Mave is Odom, Hakatani Seifa. But on Daf Tesvav, we talk about Odom. Shor Amud, V'shor Amazik, B'shus Anizak, V'o Odom. The Mishnah there is listing things that are Mu'adin Mitchilason, that are always considered Mu'ad, that you'd always be Chayiv Nezek Shalim. And it says, Shor HaMu'ad is Mu'ad. V'shor Amazik, B'shus Anizak. Right? An ox that damages inside somebody else's property, you'd be chayiv nezek shalim. V'ha adam, and a person. So we mention, right, person's chayiv nezek shalim. So we mention later on adam. So we don't mention it here, according to Shmuel. V'lesne bereisha benizke. V'lesne bereisha. But still, Shmuel, why not mention it in the reisha with shor and bor? Benizke mamun kamari, benizke gufalo kamari. Shmuel says, well, because our Mishnah is talking about nizkei mamon, right? If your ox gores, or your pit, your fire, but not you yourself. Now Rav, that Rav says that Maveh is Adam, but doesn't it mention Adam in the Seifa? Why do you have to mention it here if it mentions it in the Seifa and Daf Tesvav? Amalach Rav will respond, there and Daf Tesvav is just a technicality. It's listing all the things that are muad, so it mentions Adam also, but that's not the main place where we're talking about Adam. The main place where we're talking about Adam is here in our Mishnah, Maveh. Umaylu arei. Okay, so now explain. No, Rav, when it says, right, lo arei hashor karei Maveh, lo arei Maveh karei hashor. No, tell me, what does this mean? So BavaKama, this is what it means. Lo rei hashor shemishalim is hakofer karei adam she'ein mishalim is hakofer. By shor, it's mishalim kofer. If an ox, if a shor muad kills a human being, so the ox has to die, has to get killed, I think stoned, and also you have to pay kofer, which I think it's a machlokas if it's the value of the person who was killed or the value of the owner of the ox, but you have to pay kofer. You have to pay this value, which is not the case by a human being, right? If an Adam kills somebody else, if a fellow kills another fellow, he does not pay kofer. Okay, so again, Loria Ashor shemishalim is hakofer, Kriya Adam she'ein mishalim is hakofer, Loria Adam shechai b'arba advarim, Kriya Ashor she'ein bo arba advarim. And fellows, human beings, are unique in that they have to pay, right? In addition to nezek, they pay tsar, sheves, ripui, and boshes when a fellow injures another fellow, which is not the case by a shor. Okay, so again, V'loria Adam shechai b'arba advarim, Kriya Ashor she'ein bo arba advarim. Okay, so we say that shor is different to maveh. Right. An ox is different to a person. Hatzad hashavish sheboin shedarkon lahazik. And the Mishnah then says what they have in common, a shor and an adam, are that they regularly damage. V'chishor darko lahazik. Is that really true? Does an ox regularly damage? Does an ox regularly damage? Does an ox regularly damage? Right, because shor, according to Rav, shor includes all aspects of shor, including Karen. But by default, right, Karen is a tam. So b'muad, it's talking about a shor muad. So shor muad is darkul lahazik. Muad darkul lahazik, but is that true? Is a shor muad darkul lahazik? Yeah. Came the iyad or cheu. Yeah. Once it already becomes a shor muad, it's darko lahazik. Adam darko lahazik. Now, is a person, do they normally damage? I mean, friends, do you normally damage? Do you just go around damaging? B'yashin. Well, it's talking about a fellow who's sleeping. Yashin darko lahazik. What do people when they're sleeping damage stuff? They do. Kevin dechayiv ufoshit. Since he's moving this way and that way, bending over, straightening out, and this and that, orchehu, he damages. All right. Ushmirasan alecha. And then the Mishnah continues and says, Ushmirasan alecha, you are responsible to guard them. You are responsible you're responsible for them. So Adam shmiras gufo olav who? But this implies that your responsibility is upon them. Kilu, it implies that it's something else that you have to guard. For example, an ox, a pit, a fire. These are things that it's your responsibility to guard these things, not yourself. But at the time, that's not such a good kasha, because Adatani Karna, that which Karna taught, I bought Avos, that's a good name, Karna, in the context of Karen. I bought Avos Nezikin, there are 4 Avos Nezikin, V'Adam Echad Man, and Karna lists Adam as one of them. Adam Shmiras Gufa Olav, you can ask the same kasha over there also. But Adam Shmiras Gufa Olav, right? It's not, right. He's guarding himself, talking about guarding the other things. So Ela Kedamarle, Rababo Latana, rather it's like Rababo said to Atana, Tini Adam Shmiras Gufa Olav, teach that, well, look, when it comes to an Adam Shmiras Gufa Olav, he has to guard himself. So Achanami, Tini Adam Shmiras Gufa Olav, teach that by a fellow, he has to guard himself. But when it says Shmirasan Alecha, So that's referring to shor, bor, hever. Okay, fine. Maskifla Rav Mari. Okay, so we just saw the opinion of Rav and Shmuel. The opinions of Rav and Shmuel. Rav says Maveh is Adam. Shmuel says Maveh is Shein. Now we're going to get to some other possibilities that we're going to reject. Maskifla Rav Mari asks, Be'ema Maveh ze amayim. Maybe I'll say Maveh is water, if you damage with water. Kidichsiv, the Pasuk says, Kiktuach eish amosim mayim tive eish. That apparently means that fire will like make water boil. But miksiv maim nivu doesn't say that the water will be boiled by, which would mean that meaning nivu would be going on the maim, which would mean that mave is maim. So tive eish ksiv says the fire is going to do the boiling, so not the water. Okay, fine. So maske flor of zvid ve'ema mave eish. So zvid says, okay, fine. So maybe mave then is the fire. If it's the fire that's doing the mave, the chiksiv tive ba'eish hu dichsiv. So when it says tive, it's referring to the fire. So let's say mave is fire. But if that's the case, maya mave ve'hever. But the Mishnah says, Arba avos nezikin, shor, bor, mave, and hever. If mave is fire, then what's hever? Hever is also fire. So if it says hever, then mave can't be fire. V'chi tema parushe kamifarish. And if it enters your mind, and if you're going to say, well, it's explaining it. Mave, and what is mave? Hever, fire. But we said there's 4 avos nezikin. If we're saying that mave is hever, so there's really only 3. Matana shor is beitar. If you're going to say, yeah, but it mentions shor, and shor has multiple avos to it. So if that's the case, fine. So lo zevazeh sheish ben ruach chaim, eish my ruach chaim is be. Okay, but still, right? We're saying shor and mave. And we're saying Lori Ashor, Kriya Mave, etc. But both Shor and Mave have Ruach Chaim. And that's not light, and that is unlike Hever, unlike fire, that does not have Ruach Chaim. But if you're saying that it's Mave, that you're saying that Mave is fire doesn't have Ruach Chaim. Vesu, my Kariya Eish. And what does it mean that it's unlike fire? If we're saying Mave is fire, then it's very much like fire. It is fire. So therefore it can't be that Mave is fire. Tani Rav Oshaya. Rav Oshaya taught Shlosha Osir Avos Nezikin. So Rav Oshaya says, no, it's Taka, not 4 Avos Nezikin, it's 13 Avos Nezikin. Shomer Chinam, right? We have a Shomer Chinam, right? That if a Shomer Chinam, if somebody's guarding something for free, but he's negligent, so then he's chayiv for the damages. V'ashol, somebody who borrows something, is even chayiv for own sin. That's something that just, it was beyond his control. No say socher, or if he's being paid to guard something, v'asocher, if somebody who borrows something, where he's chayiv for gneva v'aveda, where he rents something, he's chayiv for gneva v'aveda. Nezek, somebody who causes damage, tsar, pain, ripoy, hospital bills, shevet, being away from work, uboshes, embarrassment. V'arbadim asnisim plus the 4-hour Mishnah, hotzleiser. That is 13. Matana didon, my time below, Taniani. So how come our Mishnah says 4 and not 13? Well, Bishlam of the Shmuel, so it's easy to answer according to Shmuel. Beniske mamon kamari, beniske gufalo kamari. Our Mishnah is talking about niske mamon, shor, bor, etc. Right? According to Shmuel, it's all mamon, right? Because shor and mava are both betzim shor, and then bor, hever, fire. These are all mamonis. We're not talking about things like if you hurt somebody else, right? Which is nizke gufo, something that you do. So Ella L'Rav Lesne, but according to Rav, who says that Maveh is Adam, so we are talking about people-related things. So then, why not list these things as well? So answer the Gemara, Tana Adam b'chomile de Adam. Rav says, look, our Mishnah says Maveh is Adam. When it says Adam, it means all things related to Adam, including these things. I don't need to separately list these things. The Boshai Nami Hatani le Adam. Now, Rabbi Oshaya, why don't you say like Rav, right? Meaning, yeah, the Mishnah already mentions Adam, so why don't we say that it includes all aspects of Adam? So, Tregavni Adam. So, Rabbi Oshaya would say, look, Adam is more nuanced than just Adam. There's Tana Adam, the Azik Adam, right? Rabbi Shaya mentions Adam Dazik Adam, right? Nezek, Tsar, Ripoy, etc. V'tana Adam Dazik Shor. Our Mishnah is talking about Adam Dazik Shor, a person who damages property. Yachi, if that's the case, Shor Nami, if that's the case, then by ox also, right? Nu Rabbi Shaya, why don't you make distinctions with ox as well? Trey Gavne Shor, that there's different types of ox. Less Neshor the Azik Shor, that's mentioned an ox that damages an ox. Less Neshor the Azik Adam, and an ox that damages a person. But hi mai, what would be the point of that? Bishlama Adam the Azik Shor, Nezek Udim Shalem. So I understand that, look, when it comes to a person, if a person damages property, so he only has to pay the value of the damage. Adam dazik Adam, Mishalim Arba Devar. But if a person damages another person, well then in addition to the damages, he also has to pay Tsar, Shevis, Ripoy, and Boshes. So therefore there are differences. I understand why I have to list them separately. Elashor, Malishor dazik Shor, Malishor dazik Adam. Idi v'idi, Nezek Udim Mishalim. But when it comes to Shor, why do I have to make distinctions? Either way, you're just paying Nezek, you're not paying the other things. Whether the Shor damages a person or property. Vashomer Chinom, Vashoel, Nosei Socher, Vasocher, Dodin Ta'azik Shorhu, Vikatani. Yeah, but what about Shomer Chinom, Shoel, Nosei Socher, right? These are not people damaging other people. These are monetary things. So Tni Azeket to be a dime, Vikatani Azeket to be. Look, Shomer Socher, right? These are things that happen. He's not actively doing it, right? When it says shor in the Mishnah, shor, that's talking about, right, actually doing damage biyadayim, with actually doing damage. But right, these things like a gar, somebody is renting something and it gets stolen from him. I mean, he didn't do anything; it happened on its own. So those things are taught separately. Okay, friends, that was daf Daled of Masechta BavaKama. We talked about maveh for a lot of the daf, trying to understand what maveh is. We saw that Rav says maveh is referring to Adam. Shmuel says maveh is referring to Shane, a tooth, and then to some other details there as well. There was a suggestion that maybe maveh could be mayim, water, or fire, but we kind of threw those out. And then at the end we saw the opinion of Rabbi Shai, who says that there aren't 4 avos nezikin, there are taka 13. We're going to see tomorrow that there's another opinion that says it's taka 24. So, okay, give you something exciting to look forward to. All right, peace out.